Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Spider-Man. It's nighttime, and we're swinging away from saving Mary Jane because that's just what we do.
Because we're Spider-Man, so we
We're
have
a
to.
Spider-Man.
Is Gwen Stacy dead in this timeline?
I would assume so because she's not in this.
I mean, yeah, but they've done weird things before. Like Ultimate Spider-Man, Mary Jane is the first girl, and then Gwen Stacy comes later, and then Gwen Stacy dies, but then she comes back as Carnage. And God, I swear, Ultimate Peter Parker is really good for like roughly 100 issues. It's like after that point, it becomes awful.
Well, I mean, that's a better showing than some other comic series that I could think of. Like, Power Girl was good for, like, I think exactly 12 issues.
I mean, that
a
is
whole 1 year run.
I mean, they had Brian Michael Bendis in his prime on there for like, God, at least like 50 of them, maybe more. Some of the crossover stuff wasn't great. Like they had a Deadpool crossover issue where they decided to not make Deadpool funny. So he was just kind of a guy with a sword and an outfit.
So he was Slade Wilson.
Yeah, but he wasn't like intimidating, or at least like the Teen Titans version is intimidating. Like the Teen Titans version is like
What is it?
Teen Titans Slade is like Giovanni but effective.
Damn.
I mean, kinda. Yeah, it's a shame we never got season 6 because it's like he's here, he's doing stuff with Trigon, and then he just kind of disappears the last season, and we never hear from him again.
But like,
So-
I always liked like the him like trying to like convert Robin into being a bad guy thing. Like that was all really effective. Like I liked the more grounded stuff with Teen Titans than when they did more when they got
Wacky
more out
hijinks.
there. Like the
Really extravagant.
yeah, like
You mean
generally
you don't like Mad Mod, the best villain ever, whose big villain plan is to make everyone British?
okay, like that's funny for sure. But like the Raven's demon dad, is that Trigon?
Yeah.
I wasn't really a huge fan of that like subplot really. The space stuff with like Starfire was a little bit better than that, but I always thought Slade was like the best villain on Teen Titans.
The weird part about Starfire is that she doesn't get her own arc.
No, she does with her like sister. And
No, I'm talking about like how season 1 is the whole Robin v Slade thing. Season 2 is Terra. Season 3 is, I think, Cyborg and Brother Blood, and so he's kind of the main focus. And then we have, well, it's either 3 or 4, but then we have Raven and Trigon, and then Beast Boy and Doom Patrol stuff.
Beast Boy got an arc.
Yeah, it's the last season with like the Brotherhood of Evil and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Beast
I
Boy
think
did
I stopped
something?
watching by that point because I always
Okay.
remember that Beast Boy didn't really have a lot of serious arcs, which was good because it's good to have at least. Actually, I think like it's good to have a comic relief character, but I did like that he and Raven, like he was kind of like a anchor for Raven in her arc, which I thought like added a depth to a character that really is mostly there for herder. Look, he turned into a cow.
Making funny animal noises. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes a character's relationship with another character can be just as important to that character as it is to the other character. I said that in a really lame way.
I mean, the character dynamics on Teen Titan were great. Like, you got a good
Yeah.
sense of, like, how every character's relationship was, which is hard to do. Like, I'm trying to think. There's a lot of sitcoms, for example, with, like, 6 main characters, and, like, 2 of them just never have an episode together. Like, ever. God, who's its face in Phoebe and
wanna-
whoever the main guy in Friends was. Not
Ross?
whenever you
Ross.
whenever
Yeah,
you
they
have
like
a
don't
large
do anything together. It's like
whenever you have a large cast like that, it's generally a good idea to avoid the trap of having them all revolve around 1 or 2 important characters. Like, it's very, very easy to write a cast in such a way that the only characters they care about are the main characters, and they just sort of don't really matter to each other in any substantial way.
that's a big
but-
shonen anime problem.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it is. It gives the story a feeling of being like a social power fantasy in a way, where at its absolute worst, half of what the other characters talk about is how amazing the main character is. Like,
Hi, Kirito.
how many... wait, did you just say Kirito?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to bring up. Half the time in Sword Art Online, like, whenever the other characters have a conversation with each other, it's fucking about... It's about how important Jesus-kun is to them. And, you know, I'm gonna steal that nickname from Mother's Basement without shame, because that was the entire second half of Underworld.
I have to. I see. I don't watch this stuff that sometimes you guys reference, so I have to legitimately ask if Jesus-kun is the actual name.
No.
Like of this character.
No, it's a reference to the fact that he basically can do no wrong.
Yeah, well, there's this
mind.
other, the second half of the Alicization arc, the entire second season of that big saga. Kirito spends his time like in a virtual coma, in a wheelchair, essentially. He's still trapped in a virtual world during this time, but his brain is essentially broken.
So
because something went
his
haywire.
in-game character is in a coma, or like his real?
It's stupid and overly.
He can't just
Yeah.
switch to his alt account.
No. He's like, his brain is broken, and in game he's kind of a vegetable because he was already a vegetable in the real world, and the reason he was in that virtual world was to try and heal his brain. So
Also, Ted,
like,
you laugh about the alternate account thing. A villain actually does that in that.
Oh, that guy's
okay.
dead.
That you see, that is good because you know, like if like the consequence of being evil in a video game was they get the mods to ban his account, the bad guy would just make another account.
I'm behind 7 proxies.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
like-
because it's not like any of us have had to deal with the same person making 7 accounts to continue harassing us or anything.
so like, well, having an evil alt account was basically the entire Death Gun arc. But like, okay, so the arc in the second half of Alicization is all about Kirito being in a coma and everyone doing all this other stuff to basically hold the bad guy off until he could come in, he could wake up and save the day. Basically, every Dragon Ball arc after Frieza.
We need to buy time until Goku gets here. Why can't you just do it yourself? Because we're not the main character.
So
oh yeah,
like,
speaking of another show where the characters don't interact, like have Krillin and Piccolo ever had like a real conversation? Like ever?
During Frieza.
yeah, but like you get these whole scenes that are just like the various heroines from like all the previous arcs getting together and talking about how important Kirito is to them.
How
It's
much
like,
they all love
okay.
Jesus-kun.
At one point, I'm pretty sure Shion had a character of her own, but
No,
she kind of forgot about it.
Join the harem, you go.
Did I say Shion? I mean, Sinon. Why did I say Shion? Okay, but
Got Kingdom Hearts in the brain? Or?
it's like...
Is Shion in
it's
Kingdom
just
Hearts
like-
with an X?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, I know I wasn't thinking of Kingdom Hearts because I never think of Kingdom Hearts. Why would I ever waste time thinking about Kingdom Hearts?
I mean, you also watch/read Sword Art Online, so.
well,
he
yeah,
brings
but
up a good
like,
point.
Like, I read it more than I watch it, but that's because when you read it, it at least has some redeeming qualities. Not in the characters. No, the characters are still pretty bad, but like the writer has specific strengths that just don't ever show up in the
Isn't
anime
the
because-
animation decent in Sword Art Online?
Well, because it's popular, therefore they actually get competent staff on it, even though story-wise it doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
know-
in that case, like, I can understand watching the anime more than reading the book, because...
if there wasn't still better stuff out there, I would agree
You
with
know-
you. But the fact of the matter is, it looks pretty good. But it's one of those. Why would I watch it over? As much as I don't particularly care for it, Demon Slayer looks better because of Ufotable. Jujutsu Kaisen is a better looking shonen.
Look, it's
so-
not even that SAO has good animation. The animation is pretty inconsistent. It didn't really even get like consistently, genuinely good until Alicization.
Yeah.
They do a lot of amateurish stuff in specific episodes of SAO. It's more like the art style that SAO has going for it is like very slick and eye-catching, you know? And the character designs are genuinely good. If you might not notice that they're genuinely good until they're like standing in the SAO video games next to the genuinely bad character designs that they made up for the original characters there. But like the series looks good stylistically, but the animation is pretty not great. I'm like, did you see the Skull Reaper? Did anyone notice how bad that was? That was the first season. That was halfway through the first season. Whenever someone says SAO has good animation, my mind jumps to the Skull Reaper, and it's just like...
High Avengers Tower.
Oh, good.
Right, yeah, Spider-Man, yeah.
Yes.
You know what?
Now
This might be a controversial opinion. I don't like when Spider-Man's on the Avengers all that much. For one, I feel like he does better when he can directly interact with guests, because like the quippiness kind of lets both of them be in the spotlight. And B, it just kind of, I feel like Spider-Man's whole thing is like the whole down on his luck sort of amateurish feeling superhero, which doesn't really fit as much when he's literally like part of the most powerful organization on the planet. You know?
It's one of those things. He's your most popular character, so he needs to be part of the main group at some points.
Yeah, I
Well,
get
you know,
that. But that's actually
I
kind
like
of
to
funny because
think-
the Avengers originally was like a bunch of B-lister characters. You know, like nobody knew who the Wasp was.
Yeah.
I mean, to
The
be
Avengers-
fair, I mean, of the main group of the Avengers until the MCU, the only ones anyone had any idea of were Hulk and maybe Captain America.
Yeah, Hulk and
The Avengers-
Captain America, pretty much. Yeah.
You know, they kind of, like, these days we compare the Avengers to the Justice League, but, like, in practice, before the movies made them popular, the Avengers were more like the Justice Society. So...
Or Justice League Detroit.
Yeah, and that's kind of the appeal. I mean, this has been talked about before by people far smarter than I am. The appeal of Marvel and DC is very different, because DC heroes generally have their shit together a lot better. So there's more wish fulfillment kind of there. I mean, all superheroes are wish fulfillment, but a little bit more so in DC versus Marvel is a little bit more grounded. And I mean, granted, yes, there are giant planet-eating monsters, but you know what I mean. Like, Spider-Man is a more grounded character than even, like, Batman, powers aside.
You mean, like, emotionally grounded, right?
Yeah, basically. Like,
Yeah.
they're
I was gonna
more
say, 'cause-
flawed people, so they feel a little bit more real. Is the big thing.
I mean, you could go off on a character study rant about the flaws of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
as a character,
this
but
is
it's not really
a generalization,
it's not really-
of course, but
Yeah, it's not really the focus of Batman's stories a lot of the time, or at least not until recently.
Yeah.
Recently, it's become like the popular thing to focus on that in Batman stories, but that's like before the recent like Dark Knight movies and stuff. I think the only place where you would see that kind of story and see it done well was like a few select episodes of the animated series.
yeah. Versus like how many comic book arcs are there where Wolverine having major anger issues is a huge plot point? Like a lot of them.
I
You
mean,
know?
as comics in general, they just repeat the same stuff over and over.
Oh,
because
are
they
you
have
saying that Tony Stark has a drinking problem, Ryan? I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Tony Stark has a drinking problem. Let's do that story again.
They didn't bring that up much in the movies, did they?
It was just Iron Man 2, but I don't blame you for forgetting everything that happened in Iron Man 2 because most people have.
I remember like snippets of Iron Man 2, and the only snippets I remember are specifically snippets that annoyed me. So
Yeah.
It's a little weird that Iron Man kind of became the MCU Shonen pro tycoon who's just kind of good at everything.
Yeah, it's
Well-
funny. Like, I know people give Thor: The Dark World a lot of crap, and it's not anything better than like a C- movie. But I will still say, Dark World is better than Iron Man 2 because
well, you know,
No.
a lot of it just
Sorry.
comes down to Robert Downey Jr.'s like portrayal of
Yeah,
Iron
that's
Man.
exactly why. Like, I'm entertained with
yeah,
Robert Downey Jr. on the
Iron Man-
screen.
Iron-
Dark World bores the hell out of me.
Iron Man is screwed whenever Robert Downey Jr. doesn't come back.
I thought that
Yeah,
they said that they were gonna recast him, but I mean, in MCU
Again,
stuff,
Iron
but
Man
he's
is- I was
he's
gonna say,
supposed to
Iron
be
Man-
dead, so you know that stopped
They're-
comic books before.
I was gonna say, now that he's popular, no, they're gonna do something with him at some point. Whenever RDJ doesn't come back, it's like, good luck to you, new actor.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
that's not necessarily saying that there's no chance in hell. Like, I think a lot of people thought, oh, nobody would be able to upstage who's its face from Tobey Maguire, and it took them 2 tries, but Tom
problem-
Holland is good.
The problem is a lot of the Marvel actors, we only know the one.
Yeah.
Whereas, even back in the day, Batman had multiple actors, Superman had multiple actors.
Well, I
So by
think
the time we
Superman
got
is
Well,
still.
hold on. But to be fair though, not that they didn't stop people from bitching about them being recast either.
Well, no, I'm
Well,
not saying
people
it didn't. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
it's a slightly
It-
more
it,
normal
uh,
thing rather than no one knows any Tony Stark but RDJ. No one knows any Captain America but Chris Evans.
I would still argue,
Yeah.
though, that Superman is still, like, trying to find a number 2 that's not Christopher Reeves. No, Christopher Reeves
Well, I mean,
is the.
like,
Wait.
even back when the Batman movies like only had one or two actors, or there was only like one well-known Superman actor, we also had like a really high-profile, recognizable animated counterpart that was very different from the movie character. So we had in the public consciousness multiple versions of the DC characters to run with,
Yeah, I mean.
So it was easier for people to stomach the idea of there being more than one like version of the character.
Yeah, that's again why I think that despite the Amazing Spider-Man movies not being great, I appreciated the attempt to have Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man be drastically different than the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man because
Yeah.
then you get the problem that a lot of the Iron Man voice actors have had whenever they have him in a cartoon or a video game where they're just trying to do an impression of Robert Downey Jr. instead of making the character their own.
I mean, I'm fine with them
that may not be
making.
that may not be the actor's choice. That may be the director and the company's choice.
Yeah,
but
I'm fine with them making the version of Spider-Man that they went with in Amazing Spider-Man different. I just wasn't really on board with the specific flavor of different that they went with. It's kind of like my feeling with the Joker movie. I have some respect for what that movie was trying to do, but I don't like the version of the Joker they went with there any more than I like the stupid tattoo Joker from Suicide
I don't know.
Squad.
Wait, Joaquin. Opinions on the movie, notwithstanding, Joaquin was a much better Joker than.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yes.
I think I agree with you to a point, but I also think Joaquin was just fucking.
Oh
killed
yes,
a little better
he
than
was
Jared Leto.
I can see that version of the Joker as being a more valid Joker than whatever the hell
Whatever
that
the hell
other
Jared
one
Leto
was.
was. But yeah, Macaulay Culkin after Home Alone 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's
Jared
like,
Leto
I just
I don't find to be a very good actor in general. So.
When's Morbius coming out? Marvel or Sony / whoever's doing it.
I think the worst part about Jared Leto's Joker is that they used that Joker as the introduction of Harley Quinn into the movies, and it's like the exact kind of Joker portrayal that I don't see Harley Quinn being into. So
Isn't that supposed to be like post her not liking the Joker anymore, though?
In Suicide Squad, no, she's still involved with Mr. J. Birds of Prey, she just straight up kills him off screen. And then they don't
Kills
even
him
reference
off screen. Okay, I mean, I get doing it off screen because everybody hated the Leto Joker so much.
They
but
don't
that
want
seems
him to
like
be on
a
screen
big.
anymore.
It's like I know it's awkward, but that's such a big character moment because, like, until she breaks away from him, Harley Quinn is like the definition of a satellite character. She does not exist without Joker until like more recent stuff have been able to do that, but it took a lot of effort to do that.
Like very intentionally, she was written as a sidekick to the Joker, and it wasn't their intention when she was originally written.
She was there to spice up the mook variety. That was it.
and then they decided at random along the way to do an episode developing her as a character, and it turned out to be like a literary goldmine.
Well, actually, I think that was because of a response of Harley Quinn.
Oh, she
Not
was
necessarily
popular.
not out of randomness, but more like people had positive reception to Harley Quinn. as a character
I
and
don't
to
mean
give
to
it a
imply
shot.
like they just woke up one day and thought, you know what, this show
You know what?
needs Harley Quinn to be a good character all of a sudden. No, they did her effectively as a sidekick, and then they decided to like expand on that. But like it turned out to be like way bigger than they expected, much like their version of Mr. Freeze turned out to be way bigger than they expected.
Well, I think it's
and-
because they handled it in a way that's very mature for especially a kid show. Like, not being the biggest Batman fan here, like the Batman animated series went to some very interesting and deep places with the show.
Well,
like it's
you know-
it's effectively a very realistic and sad portrayal of an abusive relationship.
That's half the reason for its success, though, because they handled it well, quote unquote, for a kids show. What that means?
Oh well, not even
is
just for a kid show. They handled it
Oh
better
no,
than most.
I'm doing a thing here. because they handled it quote unquote well for a kids show, what that really means is that they handled it with a level of tonal balance that keeps it comfortable while handling uncomfortable material, which is kind of why I'm a little dubious about live action Harley Quinn actually going into that stuff, because if they do it in this kind of movies, they're probably going to handle it more blatantly.
You see, I've been thinking about it a little bit. I find that a lot of the time, stuff aimed for a younger audience can do a better job in a lot of ways handling these really dark subject matters, because they don't have to go into details as a lot, where it's uncomfortable.
There has to be a nuance.
There does have to be a nuance, yes.
Any of you guys watched Netflix She-Ra?
I have not, but it's been on my to-do list for forever.
I recommend watching it because, like, the subtext behind Adora and Catra and Shadow Weaver is legitimately one of the most interesting aspects of the show, and it's handled, like, major low-key throughout. And it goes into, like, some similarly heavy stuff.
Okay, so I know this is on topic, thus meaning it's off topic, but I love that you can tell from the material on the fake Spider-Man that it's made out of that weird, like, kind of rubbery crap that they make, like, store Halloween costumes out of. And the zipper on the back was just, like, I don't know why that was getting me, but it was pretty good.
They did the thing that Dark Knight did with the fake Batman vigilantes, but, like, way funnier.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
I was kind of hoping that mission, because he just fucking strolls off still in the Spider-Man costume.
He just immediately gets mugged out around the corner.
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, that's Spider-Man. Oh, fuck. And then he just runs off.
Okay, so is Batman saying I'm not wearing hockey pads or I'm not wearing hockey pants?
Yeah.
Okay, you see, I think it's funnier when he says I'm not wearing hockey pants. I don't know why, that's just me.
What?